As a subscriber suggested video, I go into my cabinet and I pick out 7 of these fragrances that I would choose for life. And how I came up with 7, thought that would be a good number. But I tell you what, I'm gonna give you a bonus. That make it 8 fragrances that I would have for me for life. And I will tell you the reason why the 8th one wasn't included in this list. We're gonna start this list off with a fragrance at number 8. And by the way, none of these are in any particular order, but this particular fragrance, I don't know why I ordered it. I think I ordered it because of the look of the bottle. Then I read the notes and I'm like, at the very least, this would be okay. So once I got it in, it was a shock to me because this fragrance is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. And the only reason I don't suggest this fragrance because it's very hard to find over here. Maybe you can find it over in the UA. And one of my favorite fragrances for life on the list, His Highness from the House of Collage. Now I could go over the notes for you. Reading the notes don't do this any justice because it don't smell anything like it. But what it do smell like, I'm gonna give you a description. Imagine taking an aloe vera plant or just a stem, breaking it in half, sprinkling that over with some vanilla that's adding sweetness, but it's not creamy sweetness, just a sweetness to it. Then you add in this Irish note it's kind of the Irish profile that fits like a grape accord. And then you add some lightly touches of spices. That's exactly what this smells like. And then you amp that up about 4 times because it's a beast mode performer. It's one of my favorite fragrances. It's spicy, it's sweet, it has some bitterness to it, and it's all blended very well. Nice. It might be a little linear. This is one smell that I love to smell. It could be a very great signature scent, and that's His Excellency by Collage. Now the next fragrance up, when I first got into fragrances, I learned about this fragrances on the base note community. If you want to learn anything about fragrances, you want to see some large collections, I'm talking about like 1,500 bottles, check base note community out and you will learn a lot about fragrances. But one thing I learned about this fragrance coming up is that when it first released by Tom Ford, it was actually marketed towards women. But a lot of guys was going out buying this fragrance. Then they start marketing it as a unisex fragrance, and it also can be found in the men's section. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Black Orchid. I'm not gonna even pretend to act like I know what truffle smell like, but smelling this, you can kind of imagine that this is the black truffle note that's starting it off. That mixed with some yin yang at the top. In the heart, you're getting a lot of florals. And then the base, you're getting vanilla, you're getting sandalwood, you're getting some patchouli, that's kind of earthy. You get some frankincense that's making it smoky. But this is one fragrance I would have for life if I had to get rid of the rest, and that's Black Orchid. It's floral, spicy, woody, and sweet. Another fragrance that I would have for life, and for the life of me, I really don't understand why I don't get a lot of hype. And if you're intimidated by patchouli fragrances that are very dark, this is nothing like that. You do get some notes of patchouli, but it's very bright. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Patchouli Intense from the House of Niola. Now, in my honest opinion, you get more lavender in this than patchouli, but lavender and orange starts this off. So it's spicy, kind of manly, has a slight bit of citrus up top. It reaches the heart, you begin to get some cinnamon, the added spice. The base consists of patchouli, and you get some amber for more spices. Very lovely fragrance. It's spicy, earthy, it's green, and it's woody, and that's Patchouli Intense. If you guys haven't smelled this, get your hands on it. It's not that expensive, but I guarantee you, you'll love it. This next fragrance up, I'm telling you, if you like the note of cardamom, this is the most realistic cardamom in a fragrance that you will ever come across. And of course, I had to go to one of my favorite houses, and that is Xerjoff. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Starlight. Man, this is a fragrance that is so sexy. And to be honest with you, I think it's unisex, but cardamom starts us off a very lovely, realistic cardamom. In the heart, you get a nutty almond, you're getting cloves, you're getting cinnamon for spice, and the base is followed up with some amber and some balsamic notes. It's almost like it's a buttery, rich, sweet, spicy gourmand, but it's a very lovely fragrance that I will always have in my collection, and that's Starlight from the House of Xerjoff. This next fragrance, if you really love Irish fragrances, this is probably the sexiest Irish fragrance out there. I know a lot of people talk about the allures, from the Intense to the Parfum to every different kind of version, but this is a cheaper alternative that smells so sexy. And the one I'm talking about is from the House of Prada, L'Homme Intense. Just smelling this off top. Matter of fact, this was my scent of the day. Very sexy fragrance. You get that iris up top, making it very powdery. You also get hints of patchouli while the iris is taking the front. You also get a combination of some tonka, You're gonna get a sweet vanilla that's add some creaminess to it. And you're also gonna get some sandalwood with hints of leather in the background. It actually fit this bottle perfect because I guess it's supposed to be leather on the back, but this is powdery, sweet, creamy, and spicy. Very little fragrance, and that's from the house of Prada, one I would never go without. Next up is a fragrance that might intimidate some, but I'm telling you, ladies love this on you. And this is probably the most masculine from the list. Most of these are unisex. Women love this on you, and it's very dark, but it's not as heavy as you think. And the fragrance I'm talking about is coming from the house of Nasomatto, and that's Black Afgano. Sexy, spicy, cannabis green up front. In the heart, you get a mix of tobacco, coffee, and resins, making it kind of dark. Followed up in the base with oud and incense. Now you're talking about sexy. It's woody, resinous, spicy, and it has a light touch of sweetness. Very enjoyable scent, and that's Black Afgano from the house of Nasomatto. This is another one I think you should get your hands on because it's a very lovely, sexy fragrance. Next fragrance up is kind of a forgotten fragrance, but I still love it. And it's one that kind of changed the game for a lot of fragrances out there. Probably wasn't the first of this kind, but it's the best of this kind. And what sets this apart is that lovely ginger and saffron up top, which I don't understand why more companies don't do that. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Instant Crush. Saffron and ginger starts us off, making it very sexy, and this is, shall I say, beast mode performer. Amber comes up, adding spice in the heart. You're gonna get some florals from jasmine. Vanilla and musk is left in the base. You're talking about a compliment getter from males and females, and I also think women would smell great wearing this. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's creamy, and it's floral. Very little fragrance that I won't do without. And that's Instant Crush. Don't worry about Instant Crush, Extreme, or whatever it is. This is the only one you need because how much more extreme can you get from this beast? But you need to check it out. I'm quite sure most of you have, but Instant Crush. Now coming up next, I had to dig into my other niche fragrance house. And this particular fragrance is either you really love it or you really hate it. But I'm the one who really love it. The fragrance I'm talking about is coming from the house of Amouage, and that's Myth Man. Now what might turn a lot of people off is that chrysanthemum at the top, but to me, I like it. You get chrysanthemum and a light touch of iris at the top. You get some rum and resins in the heart. Now what happened is the iris that starts out very light in the top, circle all the way around back into the base, and it becomes the main note of the fragrance. So in other words, this fragrance is gonna go through about 3 stages, and the final stages is the iris note, accompanied with a touch of leather. And actually when they say an ash note, it do smell like an ash note in it. I know it sounds horrible, but I'm telling you, this is a fragrance I love. Also coming up is that labdanum, that adding a little smokiness to it. And I wore this the other day, and later on in the day, I did get a compliment. So this is not as bad as you think. You might not like it at the beginning, but a lot of people love it or either hate it. I love it. It's smoky, spicy, resinous, and floral. One of my favorite fragrances from the house of Amouage, and that's Myth Man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Everybody stay safe. Come back and see me, and I will see you soon. Peace.